Good day, everybody. It's great to see such a large and talented group of people here today. I'm really proud here to present on behalf of Maritime Resources. Today I wanted to give you guys a quick update on some of the new ideas that are going forward on the Hammer Down Gold project and how we plan to do some expansion, as well as talk a little bit about our Whisker Valley Gold project. Before I get started, I need to give you all a cautionary statement, as I'll likely be making some forward-looking statements throughout this presentation. Okay, I want to start with a brief agenda. So we're going to have a quick regional overview. We're going to look at some of the controls on the mineralization at Hammerdown. And as well, we're going to have a look at some of the exploration targets at the Whisker Valley project. So just to give you an idea where we're located, Maritime has two offices, one in Springdale, Newfoundland, located near our Hammerdown deposit, which has about 272,000 ounces of gold in a proven and probable reserve, and with an average grade of about 4.46 gram per ton. And then to the north, we have our Point Rouse project. The Point Rouse project was previously operated by Signal Gold, and collectively these two pieces of property have produced over 335,000 ounces of gold from a series of open pit mines. In between our two offices, we have Firefly Metals. Firefly Metals is working on the Ming copper gold mine. And then to our east, we have the Queensway project. As well to the south, we have the Calibre Mining's Valentine Lake, as well as Omega's Cape Ray project and Big Ridge Metals. Big Ridge Metals Hope Brook deposit. So just to give you a quick overview, Maritime's projects are located on the western portion of the Central Mineral Belt along a very important regional structure called the Baver-Brompton Line. That's a key collisional zone formed during the closure of the Iapetus Ocean. This closure and subsequent rifting created many of the key ingredients for the region's copper and gold deposits. So within the ocean basin, you would have had the formation of the VMS deposits, continental collision, and uplifting would have resulted in the formation of the first round of gold, or first orogenic event. And then later on, subsequent rifting would have resulted in compression, and subsequent rifting would have opened up many of these structures and created zones of extension, which resulted in this second gold event, also referred to as the post-selenic. So we'll start off looking at the Green Bay project. So here we have the Hammerdown and Orion gold deposits, as well as numerous VMS prospects. So this is a simplified a simplified geological map. You can see here in the top center, we have the Hammerdown deposit, once again. To the south, the Orion deposit, which is something that we plan to bring into our resource pipeline in the near future. As well to the north, we have the Lochinvar VMS project, which is a polymetallic gold, copper, lead, and silver, rich VMS prospect. And in between the two projects, you'll see there's very minimal drilling on this map. So that's something we plan to look at in the future as we have some more capital, is to kind of explore some of these structures. Okay, so today I wanted to introduce you to a structural debate that's been going on with the Hammerdown deposit. So the bulk of the mineralization at Hammerdown is contained within these sheared sulfide-bearing quartz veins. So if you look at the top right of the screen, you'll actually see a sample from Hammerdown that returned 145 grams per ton of gold over 0.5 of a meter. So looking at the structural debate, we want to talk about what experts agree on, and that is that the mineralization is controlled by a combination of folding, felsic porphyry dikes, and deposit scale faulting. Okay, so what do the experts disagree on? Well, over the years, the initial structural interpretation indicated that the deposit may have been cut by the Captain Nemo fault zone. So the Captain Nemo fault zone has a significant amount of cataclastized ore within it, But more recent work done by Brett Davis and Adam Sabinski indicated that the structural zones that contain the mineralized quartz veins are very likely a result of extension. So one of the things we want to look at now is further along the strike of this fault zone, looking for areas where we can extend the mineralization at depth and along strike. And we believe we're seeing evidence of a plunging zone to the southwest along the contact of the Captain Nemo Fault. So if you look at the bottom right-hand figure there, you'll see some key intersections to the southwest side of the deposit. So some of these are partially mined out, but you see 38 grams over 4 meters, 16 grams over 10. So the question is, can we continue this exploring to the southwest and extend this mineralization at depth? Now we're going to have a quick look at the Whisker Valley. Whisker Valley is a newly emerging as an epithermal magmatic porphyry system, a target, I should say. So we're going to have a talk about the Whisker Valley gold trends. So there's several gold trends at Whisker Valley, and it's located along the Bayvert-Brompton line. So we'll start off in the west looking at El Strado. There's been some historical sampling at El Strado that has collected up to 240 grams per ton of gold in grab sample, and this is part of a multi-kilometer gold in soil trend. You'll see many of the soil samples on this are actually up to 1/4 gram per ton of gold in soil. There's a very high-grade system. We also have a lot of structure in the region that helps to control that. The Middle Arm Fault is another gold structure that is starting to materialize, which is another multi-kilometer gold in soil trend. And we also have gold in bedrock occurrences along that structure. In the center of the property, you'll see the Gary gold pit trend, which is a 1.2 kilometer long gold base metal trend hosted in quartz veins. We've got up to 309 grams per ton of gold in grab samples, and trenching has exposed mineralization over 300 meters in strike length. And finally, we have the Kings Point corridor. So recently, we've extended the mineralization at Whisker Valley into the volcanic cover sequence, and are looking at the potential for a porphyry, alkalic porphyry and epithermal system. And this is something that we intend to continue exploring for in the future. So we are currently working with an alkalic magmatic porphyry exploration model. So one of the things that we get in this region, these things often are rooted in these altered ultramafic sequences, and they occur along collisional settings. So along the Bayvert-Brompton line, we have the formation of these altered ultramafics, and as you migrate up through the sequence, stratigraphic sequence, we start to see different styles of mineralization. So one of the things we have near our property or to the south of Whisker Valley is the Gull Ridge intrusive complex, which is associated with widespread disseminated nickel, pyrrhotite, and copper chalcopyrite mineralization. You'll see, oh, sorry, I have to point that out here. Sorry. Here we go. Trying to get my light going here, it's okay. And higher up in the system, we're moving up into the Whisker Valley property itself, or proper, where we actually are looking for the porphyry intrusion. So we've actually had some work done on these monzonitic intrusions, which we believe are part of the alkalic system. And then in the very top of the system, we see a diatreme breccia complex that's associated with widespread fluorite and disseminated pyrite, as well as local concentrations of gold and molybdenum. So we'll just have a quick look at the Gary vein system. So this is the central, from the central portion of the Whisker Valley property. So some initial trenching in this area has achieved some pretty high grades of gold in channel samples, as well as in drilling. So on the far west, we've had up to 7.5 grams per ton over 1.31 meters in one of the quartz veins. That's on average over the strike of the vein. A second vein returned up to 13.5 grams over 1 meter. migrating to the central portion of the area down in the valley, what we call the Whisker Valley. We've drilled and intersected up to 6 grams per ton over 5.8 meters. And on the far east of the side of the project, we have the gold pit, which is a series of structurally disrupted quartz veins that have returned up to 7.5 grams per ton, I believe over 1.9 meters. So this is a target that we need to spend a lot of time at once the Hammer Down project is further along and actually generating some revenue as a future growth opportunity. Within the Whisker Valley, we've identified an altered porphyry monzonite intrusion. So this is associated with widespread pyrite as well. There's a strong IP and magnetic signature associated with this, and it's in proximity to many of the known gold prospects in the region. There's currently a PhD study underway by Gabriel Ariza at Memorial University with Steve Piercy, and some of Gabriel's preliminary findings indicate that this monzonitic intrusion is associated with the Kings Point complex and is of alkaline affinity. He's also identified with that there's a flat europium anomaly, which suggests that there's wet magmas, which are often associated with porphyry-type systems. And lastly, in the margins of this monzonitic system, we're seeing a diatreme breccia complex in the fluoride zone. This thing is associated with variably altered argillic and potassic alteration. Some of the images on the right are some of our phase 1 drilling, where we've intersected some molybdenum grades, as well as up to 6 grams per ton of gold in drill core, as well as some fluorspar and quite a bit of extensive alteration through much of the system. And this thing occurs in the margins of the monzonitic intrusion. So this is something that in the future we're going to have to continue to extend our soil surveys and hit this with further drilling and exploration down the line. And I just wanted to thank everybody here today for listening and greatly appreciate your time, because I have a wonderful rest of your conference.